Hello everyone. In this set of videos, we're going to be talking about functions and transforming those functions. But before we can talk about transforming functions, we need to discuss what a function is. So let's define a function first. So since we're really familiar with the xy graph, here's the definition of a function. A function is a set of points for which each input, and the thing is, we define inputs as the x values. So a set of points for which each input x has only one output, which we're going to call y. So the notation for a function is f of x. And what that means is x right here, this is the input, and f of x, on the other hand, this is the output. So let's go over a couple of diagrams and discuss what exactly is a function. So let's just say I draw an xy plot. This is x and that's y, and let's say I draw a graph that looks like this. Let's say it's sort of a curvy function. And the thing is, how do we determine if this line is a function or not? So if we go back to the definition says for each input, in other words, for each x, we only have one y. So let's sort of take a look at this. So for example, here, this x value, let's say this x value for this coordinate right here, there's only one y, there's only one point. That is the output. So let's take another point right here for this x. So let's call this x, let's say a value of 2. For this x, we only have one y. And that sort of carries on for all these points. Let's say that we call this 3. This 3 has only one output. It doesn't have any more. And even though it looks like it's bent and maybe it's vertical, it's actually not vertical. It just sort of keeps going up and down. So each x has only one y. Let's take another example maybe just to show you what a function is. So let's say, for example, I have, say, a straight line, and let's say the straight line is like that. If you observe each of these x's, so there's like a collection of points. Well, maybe use a different color. So maybe let's use blue. This line is sort of made up of multiple points, and if you observe each of these points, so for each x, there's only one y. For this x right here, there's only one y. For that x right here, there's only one y. So both of these are functions. Let's show you an example of something that's not a function. So let me draw something like this. So here's x and here's y. And let's say, for example, I draw, say, a circle. Well, this is clearly not a function. The reason why is, let's say, for example, I take a particular x. Let's say we call that 5. For the input of 5, I actually have two outputs. I have one here, and I also have another here. So that violates the definition of a function. A function can, for each input x, there can only be one output. But in this case, we have two outputs. Let's say this is a positive number, and that's a negative number. So this is not a function. All right, I'll see you in the next video.